What are you talking about? What do you mean it's out of your hands? Joe, you're the managing editor of this newspaper. You have the authority to run this story. Don't cave into those people upstairs. I know I'm supposed to be impartial and objective. And I admit, the story got to me. Maybe it's because I saw them carrying this man bloodied to a helicopter, screaming for his wife. Maybe it's because I still have the glass in my shoe. Joe, this man was at work repairing the road. He wasn't out robbing a store or running around on his wife or hanging out with his friends. He was providing for his family, his 3 kids. And this snot-nosed rich kid decides that he wants to use drugs and drink and drive and comes crashing into his life. And get this, Joe. After they pried the kid out of his BMW, he whips out his cell phone and he goes, "Daddy, I had a little accident." Joe, this man is clinging on to life in a hospital. And this kid is already back at college partying with his friends. I don't care if he is the son of the vice president of this newspaper. Joe, you have to have the balls to run this story. Death done come to this here house. It done come walking in on the lips of my children. You was supposed to be my beginning again. You was supposed to be my harvest. What's that you say? He's not your brother. That's what I thought you said. You feeling like you better than he is today? Yes. What's that you tell him a minute ago? That he's not a man? Yes. You give up on him for me? You done wrote his epitaph too like the rest of the world? Well, who give you the privilege? There's always something left to love. And if you ain't learned that, then you ain't learned nothing at all. Have you cried for that boy today? I don't mean for yourself and for the family because we lost the money. I mean for him. What he done been through and what it done to him. Child, when do you think it's the time to love somebody the most? When they done good and made it easy for everybody? Well, then you ain't through learning yet, because that ain't the time at all. It's when he's at his lowest and can't believe in himself because the world done whipped him so. When you start measuring somebody, child, you measure him right, child. Measure him right. You take into account all the hills and the valleys he done been through before he got to wherever he is. I have 2 older brothers, Butchie and Chicky. One night when Chicky was about 9 years old, something really creepy happened to him. He was making one of his usual secret midnight raids on the refrigerator when he noticed something in the corner of the living room, big and red and horrible looking. Scared him to death. He screamed and screamed, woke up the entire house. Mommy, Daddy, Butchie, and I come running in. Chicky meets us in the hallway. "The devil's here! The devil's here!" He was so convincing, my mother and father stood motionless. Butchie was cringing behind my father. Chicky, who was shaking like new jello, went on to describe the apparition. He says, "It had long red fingers with sharp nails at the end and 2 big black hollow eyes. And when he stared at me, it felt like knives going through my whole body. And I didn't see any hair on his head, just 2 thick horns sticking at the top of his head. I was so scared. I couldn't move. I think I peed myself. Then he started walking towards me. That's when I ran. 'What you gonna do, Daddy? What you gonna do?' Well, my father, who was a brown-skinned man, turned almost white. We watched him as he walked into the bedroom to get the bat that he kept behind the bedroom door. So he comes out of the bedroom with the bat in one hand and the Bible in the other and starts towards the living room. And my mother calls out, 'Be careful, Warren.' Nobody noticed me following behind him. I had always heard about the devil. I wanted to see what he looked like. Well, anyway, my father starts tiptoeing into the living room and immediately began chasing whatever it was. All I could see was a figure of a man running out the door and my father wailing that bat upside his head. Now, I can't tell you if it was the devil or Dwayne the Wino, who was known for breaking into people's houses. But I can tell you this. It was the last time that Chicky took one of his secret midnight raids on the refrigerator.